And that's when all the stories go away, all the stress melts. It's the one thing in modern world that we've lost. We've lost the art of ritual. That's when our nervous system actually resets.
Right.
Otherwise, it's always stressed out.
Yeah.
Life is a video game. And let's say a relationship is a video game. You can't get to the next level of the video game until we should forever remain in the learning. That's the best way to be. The moment you think you've arrived somewhere, it is great to see you, brother.
Yeah. You look the same.
You just keep getting better looking.
I know.
What's
pain
the...
you just say that. But it's funny enough, my first time in Topanga, really in Topanga hanging out, and the first time meeting you in person was at your birthday here in Topanga, literally a mile down the road, however many years, 12, 15 years ago. Yeah. And that was my first time falling in love with Topanga. Obviously, you, and I got to meet a whole community. At that time, it was such a special time because I was really seeking community. Yeah. Some different people to hang out with. Yeah. Then I met you and the whole shiny crew. And I was like, oh my God, who are these people? It was so awesome. And now I'm here. Now here in Topanga, but...
Now you've taken over from me.
Yeah, I've tried. The baton's been passed, I guess.
That's right.
That's tough. Those are some tough shoes to fill, though, buddy. Let me tell you.
You seem like you're filling them just fine, my friend.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Well, we got to tell everybody who you are. This is actually, when I first met you, I got the card that said the prophet.
Oh my God, yeah, I had that. Oh, it's hilarious.
So, do you have a new card now?
I don't have a new card. The old one still stands.
I wish I still had
I don't give it out anymore, though.
That was awesome. So, Johann, welcome back to Topanga.
Thank you, brother.
I'm so happy this worked out. You're here for like a week.
Yeah, just barely. We're just here for less than a week, seeing friends. We just did a little workshop at Primal Moves, which you got to do, by the way. It's awesome. For our mutual back issues. Mm-hmm. And just came to meet the new babies on the block, and a bunch of people have been having kids and just dropping in. But honestly, I got to say, it's so nice here. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Weather's been wonderful, and it feels really good to be back for a moment.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're happy to have you back.
Thank you.
And you guys are now full-time. So obviously, like we're telling the audience here, we met here in Topanga. It's a very special place. And I'll just brag for you a little bit. Johann and Rachel, his partner in crime, they basically single-handedly had one of the greatest, well, we were all part of this amazing community. Mm-hmm. And that was, as far as the healing path for people, which is one of the most critical things, is community. You guys really held that, the throne for quite a while for bringing people together. And you were one of those guys that always reach out to me. Hey man, just want to catch up, see if you want to grab a lunch, and see what you're doing, man. Yeah. And I always appreciated that about you. And we still keep in touch. Now you're living in Ibiza.
Yeah, living in Ibiza for 2.5 years, and you're, like I said, brother, you're a joy to be around. And that was a moment. That community, our good old butt chat, which. It was just a beautiful, beautiful time. Yeah. And we had so much time to hang out and to live life and to go to the beach and to gather and to, it was quite the moment. It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really special. And at that time, you were doing, I guess we both at that time, acting world, getting more into the spirituality, but it seems like you were already started that work at a much younger age. I remember you telling me at 14 you started meditating.
Yeah, at 14 I started meditating because I was living in Finland and I was really depressed and really disconnected and kind of living a lie in a lot of ways because I was pretending to be strong, but I was really alone. My mom and I had a really difficult relationship, and I was I'm Estonian, so I was in another country, and there was bullying things, and we were pretty poor as well. And so, in society, if you're in that sort of a caste, it's like, your clothes aren't cool. You're just, so I ran with a pretty rough crowd as well. And but inside I was really depressed. And even though outwardly I wouldn't show it. And meditation just came to me. I just started sitting at night with my eyes closed, and I started experiencing things, and that my inner world like opened up for me, and I started to feel relief. And I started to just be like, oh, this is, I don't know what's happening. Like, no clue what's happening. This is pre-internet, this is like 1980 something,
Right.
It was just so, actually, it was 1990s, early 90s. But it was so amazing to discover that there was something that I could do on the inside to gain power or to gain relief, to be able to still keep going. And I was just like totally like in a dark cave by myself. Like I had no idea what to do, yet still there was profound experiences. When I was 15, I was doing this meditation at night. I flew out of my body. Like my spirit literally like
Woo.
flew out of my body, totally unintended. It has never happened since. Through the wall, into a tree in the park, up and down the park, back through the tree, into my body.
Wow.
And I was just like, whoa, what was that? And it was so just like, it just confirmed to me that there's the inner world is worth exploring, and that there's such a thing as a mystery and a mysticism, and that's when I really got into Eastern philosophy. Started reading that, and that's where I found a lot of these answers. And again, it's like I recently learned this cool term called the unteachable lesson. It was just something that you cannot put into words, right? You have to experience it.
Sure.
In order to understand what it is. And I think the inner journey is that. Like you can read about it and be like, read about meditation or read about medicine work or whatever else. And it's like, yeah, it sounds kind of interesting. But when you do it, you're like, wow.
Yeah. You got to be there.
Wow.
It's like learning how to swim. You can read about it, but you got to jump in the water, man.
Exactly.
Yeah. But so that's pretty young. I mean, we had similar, I don't know if you knew this, I was diagnosed with depression as a kid as well.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was 13, 14 years old. I, however, did not have, meditation at that time. But my mom was great. They were trying to force feed me. I remember Prozac at the time.
Oh, wow.
But I just found really going outside, taking care of myself. Mm-hmm. That's where I really started, really implementing wellness and positive self-talk at that time.
Wow.
But I wasn't really till later in life when I was like, found meditation, found plant medicine. But how did you find, because I'm imagining myself at such a young age. Thank God I had, good parents around me. But to find that inner world, was there a mentor or something that happened?
So first it came to me on my own. I just started to, look within, and I think that triggered then other things. My dad, who wasn't in my life at the time, he had moved to the States. And I remember when I was 15, he came to visit Finland, and I went to meet him for a day, and I was a really avid reader. And I depleted the second largest library in Finland of all science fiction. I was like, okay, like what's next? And so I actually asked him, I'm like, what do you suggest I read? And he was the one who said to me, hey, why don't you read Bhagavad Gita? Why don't you read Tao Te Ching? Why don't you read Dhammapada? And the first one I read was Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. And I just remember laughing and crying at the same time reading it. Because it finds a way to describe the indescribable.
Yeah.
And my soul, my spirit just remembered something. And then I went to seek out a monk who was in this town in Finland to sit with him and meditate, but I couldn't do it. It was too hard. Like he was just like, sit there, and close your eyes and just sit there. And I was like, huh? But then I kept going back because he would always feed me. Like really good vegetarian food, but then I would just eat and leave.
Right.
And I found meditation quite challenging without the breath work or breath play, like I like to call it, beforehand. That's why I love pyramid breath so much, because it gives me and also my students, clients, the ability to drop out of the busy mind into the body first, very fast, and get a disassociation with your identity and your story. And then it's like you're in that space of pure blissful meditation where it's just quiet and you can just be there, and then the inner world opens for you and you begin to see. Some people experience, sense. We're all slightly different. But what I see, I'm very visual, and it's wild when you look into infinity and see your own reflection, or rather the reflection of infinity in you, and remember that you are that. And that's when all the stories go away, all the stress melts. And I believe that that is something that we as tribes back in the day used to do. Just, we would all have rituals, and that's the one thing in modern world that we've lost. We've lost the art of ritual. It's not part of our culture anymore. Like if you go to, a church or a temple, it's kind of people talking at you, you know, and you, instead of you going within, you doing your own practice, you realizing divine is actually inside, not outside. Well, inside, outside, both. But we always place divine outside.
Right.
When we bring ritual into our lives, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, that taps us into that inner divinity and helps us remember that. That's when our nervous system actually resets.
Right.
Otherwise, it's always stressed out.
Yeah. That inner experience, outward reality. So the better I can feel on the inside, the better I'm going to attract, better community I'm going to have.
I mean, life, as far as I understand it, is just, it's an interpretation of whatever we choose to make of it. And, for me, one of the biggest realizations was it's just a point of belief. Do I believe that life is happening to me or for me?
Yeah.
If I choose to believe that life is happening for me, then it gives me so many options to look at life and be grateful and excited, knowing that it's happened. All of these experiences, especially the hard experiences, because those are the only times we think about our life and where we've grown the most. It's always been through tough moments.
Those big challenges.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like, then you go like, oh, those are actually here for me. So then when the next time comes around, because it will, you actually can meet it with excitement and gratitude and a totally different attitude. And again, the body is always listening to whatever our brain is thinking. And if we're thinking this is bad, this is wrong, the body's like, all right, cortisol, adrenaline, like danger. If we're going, oh, this is happening for me, amazing. Ooh, happy, good chemicals flooding the system. You feel relaxed, you feel resourced. And like you said, that's like attracts like, and then you attract the people, and it becomes an opportunity. Yeah. And that's the difference of what I see in my work around the world. People who have a practice, who are devoted to a practice that is effective, or if it's shallow, it doesn't matter, but if it's effective, and those who don't. Yep. Your life greatly depends on how you choose to live.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say I was doing breath work also for quite a long time, but I remember doing your pyramid breath work. If we can go into that a little bit, because it was such I would say, an excuse for me to release and let go. Mm-hmm. First of all, you hold a really powerful container.
Thank you.
But then there was that part, it was more of the, screaming, letting go, that moment of being able to just let myself go, like ego check, just get messy with it.
Yeah, so the way pyramid breath is designed, and again, it's not designed by me, it was a download. So I give credit to the divine. It came through. It's designed to begin us slowly. It's to really like get our nervous system, get into our body, feel safe, and then we rattle. As you know, we rattle shit up because we create deliberate tension, and we create, squeeze the body. We squeeze the muscles, and then we let it rip. We scream. We can cuss. You can just let it all out. Because our nervous systems are designed to be in a parasympathetic, which is rest and digest, and then in the sympathetic, which is like, oh shit, danger, and then come back to parasympathetic. Yeah. But in today's world, nobody lives that way. They just live in low-grade stress. That's just like constant.
All day long. Yeah.
Every day. And, you know, our devices are things like there's so much input all the time, and our brains have not caught up to all of these amazing devices that we have.
Yeah.
And so no one knows how to release that stress consciously. And that's where pyramid breath is so powerful, because if you just know that you have a way to release the pressure in a safe, sacred way, you're not going to take it out on your partner or your boss or your employee or yourself. You know, you're not going to implode or explode. You're actually just going to release it.
Yep.
And then once we release it, once you put something down, you can pick something up. You know, you can actually fill that space that you just created inside yourself, that was rage, resentment, anger, frustration, fear, with empowering energy, love, color, life force, aliveness, creativity. And again, it's not like you go and do it one time in a year and you're done. No, it's a daily thing. And that's when you really begin to see how your life rapidly takes off and changes.
Amazing. So are you still daily? Are you teaching online still?
Yeah, I teach online. We just actually launched a new portal where Rachel's also teaching.
Yeah.
Called the House of Devotion. And we're not only doing pyramid breath, we're also doing a lot of the other practices that we've learned over the years. Done a pretty deep dive into Tantra. Learned a lot. Just been so incredible. Continue to learn with masters, facilitating also now with masterful teachers. And for us, it's a daily practice. It's a non-negotiable.
Yep.
And again, you can do it in just a few minutes, or you can take your time with it. It's up to you. But the fact that you can do it in 3 to 5 minutes doesn't give you an excuse not to do it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's fun. So, you know, it's even more reason to look forward to it. And then the portal House of Devotion is really, really amazing, because for our private clients, you know, not everybody can work with us because maybe pricing or even just time. But this allows people for a very small amount of money to hundreds and hundreds of videos, 2 to 4 times a week, lives with us, you know, connecting. So really, I'm trying to do our best to create an offering that is creating big impact at a low cost, and everyone's having a good time.
That's great. So at least twice a week, people can still connect with you.
Yeah.
Are you teaching breath work during those sessions?
You know, I don't teach breath work. I teach breath play.
Yeah. Breath play. I like it. No,
we don't work.
We don't work.
Pyramid breath
play.
Breath play or breath pray if you want to go deeper.
Pray. I like to play because I definitely felt like it was playful every time I did it. I felt so light, free. It was so much love. It was great.
Yeah. And so the journey really with pyramid breath is like we start slow, you know, and then we really get into a nice parasympathetic state. And when we're there, things can really reveal themselves. Where we are, what have we been holding onto, what's been in our space that is not that. That is the more of the sympathetic nervous system energy. Then we tap into that, we release it, and we do that several times because there's layers to it. And then we come back to the parasympathetic state. And then from that, we visualize and actualize a new way of being moment to moment, so that you give yourself permission to really become a creator, creatrix of your life and take agency and responsibility over that energy that we all have.
Right.
Every single one of us. You know, we've just been told we don't have it. God is, or divine is somewhere outside. And when you realize that it's been here all along and you can tap into it and use it to create an incredible life, I think it's one of the greatest blessings and gifts. A, you can give yourself. B, you can give others, because people want to be around people like that.
Absolutely.
Because they remember, then that's also true.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, going back to when I first met you and Rachel, and there's a bunch of I remember going there. I remember Kylie Edwards brought me over there. She said, I got a guy you should go meet. So I come over to, you know, your place, and Topanga has an energy anyway. But I remember coming into your guys' place. I'm like, wow, who are all these people? And I had to drive Kylie home that night, so she had to leave. So I drove her back home. It's like, so from Topanga to West Hollywood, it's about an hour, 45 minutes. And I remember telling her, I'm like, do you think it'd be cool if I go back there? She's like, yes, they would be totally fine. And I remember driving all the way back. I think I hung out for another hour, and that's when you gave me your card.
The prophet.
The prophet.
Oh my gosh, hilarious! Just so you guys know, the prophet, it was a joke. I didn't really think I was a prophet. I just thought it was really funny.
Right.
Yeah.
I totally got it, but I loved it.
Yeah.
'Cause I've actually heard about you at that time from a few people. And they're like, oh, you got to meet this guy, Johann. He's super cool. So you were basically, you were a prophet or a phantom at that time. And then I finally got to go meet you. But then we've had some journeys over the years, that's for sure.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
And you know I was just thinking about it. It's like we used to be, in the modeling world years and years ago. And then I think we have very similar feelings there. It felt very kind of void of any spirituality, right?
Yeah.
And then into the acting world. For me, and did you do acting as well? Were you?
Not very good. But
Yeah.
It
wasn't what I was born to do either.
Me neither. Yeah.
And then what a journey it is, and I'm speaking to this because, it took me until I was, I think in my late 30s, or maybe even early 40s, to really figure out what's my medicine? How can I serve the world? How can I feel fulfilled? How can I find my purpose? And so, if you're listening to this podcast and what I'm saying is never too late to find how you can serve.
Yeah.
What is the right way for you to be of service? Because I think especially for men, maybe for women, it's even more ingrained because they're mothers, But for men, it's like if we don't find our purpose, we really feel I don't know. I felt really untethered, or really kind of like, what am I doing here? Why is this whole thing happening?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until really like when I was really trying to figure out how I can serve, and then we were doing also feeding the homeless in Hollywood.
That's right. Yeah.
Which we did for many years, and being like, wow, I can make a difference.
Yep.
In this way. And then when I realized when Pyramid Breath came through, and I was like, and COVID happened, and had hundreds of people at, sometimes on the free calls that I had, and the feedback was like, hey man, like you literally like saved my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm been stuck in my apartment for like 6 months. I'm deathly afraid, and this practice, lifesaver, and being like, oh, and that feeling was like, this is what I'm here to do.
Right.
That's the feedback I want to get, is like I'm making a difference in people's lives. And now being able to do it all over the world, and with my wife, who I love so much, and another thing that we're so passionate about. We've studied a lot with different teachers, and we're finding that the one layer, and this is another piece of our medicine, that's really missing in a lot of traditions, is conscious communication, co-devotional communication. They teach you all these
conscious communication and what?
Well, in the beginning, we used to just call it conscious communication, and now we call it co-devotional communication.
Okay.
Which is like, how can I say everything that I'm experiencing in such a way that it creates trust and safety, and meaning like everything, like 100% transparency, right?
Ooh,
which for most people is crazy. But how can you be so elegant in your delivery that you're not shaming, blaming, guilting, projecting, but you're owning? You're taking responsibility and saying, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, part of me experiences, stories that are going on, so forth and so forth. And we're seeing how these amazing traditions are lacking this piece. So people go and do, level 1 of something, and then the stuff they experience is so much, they're just like, I don't know how to deal with this. So they never go to level 2 or do another practice ever again, because it brought up all their shadow that's been unprocessed, and they don't know how to deal with it.
Yep.
And we're like, why aren't these teachers teaching people how to communicate? Because they don't even know these practices, which is so crazy. And again, it's like, there's a niche, there's this piece, right, that is so needed in the world. And like, why aren't we teaching this in the kindergarten, or first, second, third grade in school? Like this should be in, if it was part of our education, like the world would be a different place, because no one would take shit personally. You'd be able to express yourself, whatever is occurring, and take responsibility for it. And people would be like, oh, awesome. Okay, great. Thanks for sharing that. You're bringing me in, into what's happening in your world. Like, I feel closer to you versus like, you just pointed it all at me, all your stuff. And you're like, I'm going to run the other way, or I'm going to fight you for it, And so it's another thing that we really love teaching and are seeing when people put these tools into practice. Their lives radically change, and it's just marvelous.
Well, you guys are the medicine. You're the ones who pioneered it within your own relationship. So,
through some crazy moments.
Yeah, I mean, how long have you guys been together now?
This April, it'll be 13 years.
Woo!
Getting better and better.
Yeah. And I guess with that clearer communication, not hiding from your feelings, not hiding from your doubts or your worries, or the uncomfortability around wanting to say a certain thing in relationships. Oh, this might hurt her feelings. Those are some of my early talks with you. I'm like, just speak from your heart, brother. Like, what's happening? Mm-hmm. And that was probably my early. I think I was dating Josie at that time, but I remember, just really, what do I feel? What's up from my heart? And coming from that place, I try and tell this to my clients too. It was like, you can't go wrong. Sometimes, spirit of medicine is telling you one thing. Sometimes your friends are telling you one thing. Sometimes your ego is telling you one thing. But you trust the matters of the heart. You can't go wrong.
Yeah. And especially if we can speak to it in such a way that we don't shame, blame, guilt, and project, which most people do.
Absolutely.
And then and you're like, well, how do I do that without that, right? And so when you figure that out, it lands totally differently, because then you are bringing somebody in on your journey and what's occurring inside of you. Most of us don't realize that reality is subjective. We all have our own idea of what reality looks like. Yours might be very different than mine. And it's like, I remember like having these realizations and, reading books or listening to talks and just being like, oh my gosh, like, why is nobody talking about this stuff, And it's just, we have to educate ourselves, and so much of the suffering that most people are experiencing would just disappear.
Yeah.
And life would, because we carry all that stuff in our soft tissue, as you very well know. And obviously, mushrooms, I think mushrooms are like maybe the best like truth serum that I know. Where you can't hide, like the mirror is very clear.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you could try hiding, but it's gonna pull up a big mirror and be like, this is what you're working on now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
The excavation of the shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can be scary, and it's I understand that people, avoid it. I avoided it like the plague for the longest time. But then when you actually start peeling back the layers, man, life just gets so juicy and so good. And this is the other thing that Rachel and I have come to realize is in intimacy, we have this belief that you can't get, it's like if life is a video game, and let's say a relationship is a video game, you can't get to the next level of the video game until you are courageous enough to be fully transparent. When you're fully transparent, you're no longer afraid to say it all, express it all, no matter how ugly, how crazy, how wild the thing is that a part of you is experiencing. Then somehow the universe or the divine trusts you in such a way that this other portal opens up when you look into this whole other and get to experience this whole other multiverse of wowness that you couldn't touch unless you were courageous enough to be in that state of full transparency, because what you are asked to hold and experience there is so grand that if you weren't clean or hadn't processed your shadow enough, you would just explode or implode or collapse, or like it's so cool.
Wow, that sounds like a whole psychedelic experience in itself, just through intimacy.
Yeah, and that's where Tantra really has blown our minds. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and I didn't know that existed. And then it's like you discover that you've been living in the same house And then all of a sudden, there's this whole other wing to the house that it was like shrouded in an invisibility. How do you say invisible? But a cloak of invisibility.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah,
Cloak
yeah.
of invisibility.
Indivisibility.
Say it 12 times fast.
That reminds me of that really funny video when it's like in the beginning. Have you seen that one? In the beginning. It's just like
in the beginning.
In the beginning. Yeah. But
I get the one of technology. Yeah. Back to serious.
Back to stuff. And so you discover there's this whole other, wing to the house, or a door, or a room in your house, and it's just full of magic.
Well, I guess that's how you keep the relationship alive,
Yeah.
for 13 years.
Yeah.
That's another thing, part of what I've really respected, and, you guys have been pillars of community for a long time, but then pillars of relationship, that was kind of my lead into what you guys are doing now, because you're transitioning over the years. I feel like naturally you were just the guy people were coming to for advice, masculinity, strength, what's your practice, having an issue with my girlfriend. So was the universe telling you, Johann, I think this is the path for you?
Yeah, it was, but I wasn't ready for a long time. Even though I was giving advice, when I look back now, I'm like, I was probably not giving the best advice because I still hadn't dealt with my shadow. I was very confident about my advice, but I looking back, I realized how little I knew at the time. And it wasn't until Rachel and I went through our biggest rupture 4 years in, where, fell in love with different people, hooked up with different people, like, we're very confused. And and again, in that moment for me, I asked Rachel for space, because it was like, am I supposed to be with this other woman, or am I supposed to be with Rachel? And she was confused. Is she supposed to be with this other man or me? And I asked her for space so I could do a solo mushroom journey at home. And so, did a hero dose of mushrooms by myself. Got a bucket, because I was like, wow, there's stuff that's going to be coming out. And I was like chanting like Viking chants, and I was like purging stuff that was clearly like lineage stuff and programming. And the mushrooms told me, they were like, you got to tell her everything. Everything, that you cheated 2 years in, that you've been in love with this woman, all the things that you think she is not. And then, is it the way that she's not able to meet you? This is the story I was making up, right? Again, I only later realized that was only a story I was making up. And then also that they showed me that I was taking it for granted.
Wow.
So all the things that were amazing about her, I was totally not seeing. I was only seeing like the little sliver that should be different, which is most people's dilemma, right? Sure. We only see the problem versus like, oh my gosh, I have a home to live in. I'm healthy. I have 4 limbs of eyes to see, ears to hear. Like, when you lose it, and when you get sick or something, terrible happens, if I could only get back that just yesterday,
right?
But we just take it for granted. And I was taking Rachel for granted. And the medicine showed me that so clearly. And I just remember, and then they showed me my life. Makes me emotional. Wow. They showed me what my life would be like without her. Mm. And I cried like a little baby who's lost her mommy for like 3 hours. It was so, I was like, oh my, this would be the biggest mistake of my life, And then the next day when Rachel came home, and the mushroom was like, you got to tell her everything, 100%. Don't hold anything back.
Wow. And
the next day the mushrooms have obviously worn off, and I was like, maybe not 100%,
maybe 90.
And the medicine was like, we haven't left yet. You got to go 100%. And so I did. And it was one of the scariest things I've ever done.
How did she take all that? I mean, from the opening up about the cheating to the,
Yeah.
dislikes about whatever it was.
Yeah. All the fears and she took it like a queen. And that's when I knew that she is my person. Because the way that she was able to meet my fear, my shadow, my trauma, my childhood stuff, the distrust of the feminine, like all the things, she cried, but she held such immaculate space for me. And I was like, wow, this is my queen. And then, after hearing that, obviously her whole world was broken. Like, 'cause she was like a textbook people pleaser.
Yeah.
And so it shattered her world of these rosy glasses. And, she kind of put me on a pedestal in some way, even, and it all collapsed.
Yeah.
And the rosy glasses were shattered. And she was really mad at me in the beginning. Looking back from where we are today, we're so grateful for all of that, because had that not happened, we'd still be perpetuating the same patterns, right? Yeah. So we cast the exact right people, that exactly, like, it was just perfect from a soul level, perfect, but human level, like the hardest thing. And so it took her about 1.5 to 2 years to forgive me fully, and to also let go of the trauma of being cheated on, being lied to, and really look at my actions. Because I cleaned up my act. Like, I was like, I'm done with this shit. It's over.
Wow.
And so I stepped into becoming the man that I am today. And that was my initiation for it. And then she began to trust my actions and the way I was showing up versus, what the past was telling her.
Sure.
And again, that's a big step for a lot of people, where there's been rupture and cheating or betrayal or any form, to forgive and then not project that onto your partner, which we tend to do consciously or unconsciously. Sometimes people use that as a nice way to manipulate,
right,
to get what you want in the moment, and it's a really toxic tool. So. And then through that process, we realized, like, we have so much to learn. And we really dove into Gay and Kathleen Hendricks, Brene Brown. Years later, I wish we would have found her earlier, Alistair Armstrong. So brilliant. The Imago technique. And trying to think, there's other...
Esther Perel.
Esther Perel. Yeah, and bless, like, all the people who've all the masters that are currently still alive too, and those that came before. But really, it's like this now, the people that now have been putting this work out into the world. And then we realized that we had, before even finding some of their tools, developed similar tools, and just realizing the tools are universal. They're just information. Yeah. And when you can tap into it, they're just there. Whatever you call it, practices can be very similar. And now we've really honed it to an art form. So we call it the art of co-devotional communication, because it really is an art form when it becomes your mother tongue.
Sure.
When you start to think that way, not just speak that way when you're in a place of rupture in your life. Oh, let me think about the tools, right? Or rather, you live that way. You think that way. The self-talk is also, hey, wow, I'm noticing a part of me is feeling really tight right now. That part of me is really tender. There's a part of me that's really excited. And realizing that we have so many parts alive in us at all times. We're not just one thing. And usually it's like, I'm angry, or I'm happy, or I'm sad, or I'm depressed. Part of you is depressed, part of you is angry, part of you is sad. There's also a part of you that's really fucking stoked to be alive.
Yeah.
And so it's like when there's options, it's just like you get away from this myopic idea of who I am, but you're like, what do I choose? I can choose here. And that's so powerful.
Absolutely.
I
wanted to ask, when you finally opened up to Rachel about everything. By the way, thank you, Mycelium Network, for
Oh my
opening
God.
that up.
Well, isn't I think it was Teal Swan who said that, if the aliens came to the planet and they were like, who's the most intelligent species? It'd be like mycelium.
Yeah, mycelium. It's the largest organism, most intelligent. It's
Yeah.
waking people up.
Yeah.
But when you finally open the door, just kind of give her everything. Did she also give you feedback? Some of her, I don't know, hurts or her distrusts about you.
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah. She also, she wasn't holding as much back as I was. She didn't have like the childhood trauma that I had. She had her own stuff. But she was a much better communicator. Rachel is my greatest teacher. And really this process of her this experience of her letting go of the people-pleasing aspect, which I think that moment was like broke that mold. Yeah. She really stepped into being even a more powerful mirror for me. She realized that I wanted her fire. I wanted her reflection. I resented the fact that she was like trying to please me. I hated it. I didn't know how to communicate it. I was textbook avoidant attachment. Like, I didn't know how to fucking communicate anything. But she really got to step into her powerful feminine leadership and become my true mirror. Yeah. Which, wow. She started reflecting some stuff that I was like, that's not true. Yeah. What? Oh shit, Yeah. And then you start seeing stuff and it's a whole process of like identity death after identity death. And it's like, it's ugly and painful and like embarrassing and shameful. And like, there's all of these things you go through, but that's the weight you got to lose, because that stuff is weighing you down. Right. And it's like, it's sneaky and it's fucking nasty. And it's like manipulative and like creative and like, spiritual ego, which I fucking was huge on. I was just trying to avoid my feelings so hard, it was a hard road. Yeah.
But I have to say, I think with the work you're doing now too, it helps when you've gone through all this.
Yeah.
When, especially I guess when you're working with couples, you're working with a guy that like you've been there, you've been through this messy part of it. You know what it is. Yeah. That's more believable. I would trust a facilitator or, you trust your coaches more that have been through, the storm, been in, the trenches of war. And they've come out on the other side. So that's got to be a huge benefit. And also, kind of the reason, the silver lining for having gone through all this.
It's honestly like golden lining. It is. I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. Wouldn't change a thing because, and that's when you realize that life is happening for you. All of the things in the childhood, like moving to another countries, being bullied, or really like not believing in myself, almost killing myself several times, being just so disconnected. Like all of that was prep for this.
Right.
And to your point, it's like people go to therapists or analysts, and you're like, it's all on the level of the mind and ideas and books and information that I've read. But those people haven't necessarily had the experience. And if they have had the experience, they're not allowed to share it with you even. We're so transparent with our clients or students about all of the life experience. There's nothing to hide. We're not hiding stuff, not just from each other, but also from anyone else. We're an open book. Let's talk about it. Yeah. We're very much in the learning still. I think we should forever remain in the learning. That's the best way to be. The moment you think you've arrived somewhere, you're fucked. Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the most beautiful part of it. There is no hiding. You've been the open book pretty much ever since I've met you. But yeah, you've gone through that transition in relationships. I look up to that. There's still aspects of myself I know. No matter what work I'm doing, continue to do, there's still more. There's always going to be more. Always more. And imagine if there wasn't. Whew. It get kind of boring.
Real boring.
Yeah. You're just like, I've arrived.
Yeah.
Now what?
Yeah.
And I think I believe that's where what we're here to experience on this planet, in these bodies. We come here for this. We come for the aliveness.
Yeah.
The universe loves aliveness, apparently, because there's always shit going down.
Yep.
It's like, look at the world.
Yeah, we're in chaos, right?
It's like, and I feel like if the divine wanted just harmony all the time, we would probably have it.
Yeah.
But I think maybe when we're in our, soul state, we're just like, whoa, you're just like harmony forever and ever. And you can reach those states and be like, oh yeah, that's who I am. And therefore, and that's forever and ever and ever. Therefore, I've come here to have this experience that's like a short amount of time, feels like a long time in the beginning. And then as you get older, you're like, oh shit, it's actually not a long time at all. Like time goes so much faster.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. Yeah. And wild, and what a ride, what an adventure.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy about it. See how many more summers we have left, and keep this train going. But who knows? AI will take in. Maybe our souls are going to be implanted somewhere else, and I'll take over your body at some point, and we can just create AI bots of Johann.
I want that body.
We can do both. Yeah, we can trade. Next lifetime.
You're downgrade, buddy. I mean, I want to up level to that.
I want the profit, damn it. So what's most exciting for you guys now is because it sounds like you're doing a lot more coaching together. Is that right? What's most alive for you guys as you move forward?
What we've really experienced, teaching festivals and platforms around the world is there's very few couples that are conscious, that are talking the talk and walking the walk.
Yeah.
There's some folks that are talking the talk, but maybe not walking the walk. And I think people can feel that, or it comes out at some point. And I'm really proud to say that we walk what we talk, And so seeing how powerful it is for people to experience a couple who is in devoted relationship, who is constantly growing, who is serving from that place, that's our medicine, and like having a great time doing it, and then that's possible for a lot of people. Relationships are really wrought, difficult, challenging, hard, and again, it's like, most people don't share a ritual together. They don't practice together. And they're like, why is everything like, they're not connecting in a way that allows for all of their parts to express in a safe container. And so shit just builds up and builds up and builds up. And so what we were seeing is how amazing it is, first of all, to teach together, because we can give wisdom from or life experience from, masculine and feminine perspective at the same time. So it's balanced. Yeah. And somehow maybe even more approachable. And plus, like, we really love being with each other. We love spending time together. Yeah. So it's really, it's like a win-win-win for us. And we're just stoked. We're right now going to facilitate an amazing retreat with our teacher, our tantra teacher, assist her, which is such an honor, and going deeper on this tantric journey called soulmate training, which I highly recommend to any couples out there who want to deepen, like, in a way that you didn't know was possible. Soulmate training with Mananda Sarita is wow. And
it's just a retreat that they can do with you?
No, this is actually with our teacher.
With your teacher, okay.
With us, we do plan to do a couples retreat, hopefully this year. But we've been struggling to find the right space, which is crazy because there's so many spaces out there in the world, and still we haven't found the space for us that we're like, we want to do this here, like year after year after year. I would say most of our work right now with couples is people fly to us for immersions for let's say 3 to 4 days. A lot of our work is online over Zoom calls, so you don't have to travel to us. We have clients who fly us out as well. And then a lot of our work is also festivals and collaborations. We're doing a collaboration with Mind Valley shortly that would be really powerful and beautiful. And then also in Europe, there's this big platform called Unity, mostly German speaking, and we'll have a cool thing over there. And so it's like just doing our best to reach as many people as we can at where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. Meaning like financially as well as mentally, spiritually, like really want to just be able to give everybody something that is useful. And then for those folks that really, really want to go deeper into like sensuality, sexuality, tantra, and that's more like, 2-on-2 work, immersions. And we love that stuff. It's amazing.
Well, you're living it right now, so that's the medicine I see. It's so many couples, could use your work. Hopefully, the couple I introduced you, we won't name names, but let's hope that they end up. It sounds like they'll end up visiting you guys in Ibiza.
Yeah,
make that happen.
It would be amazing, and I'm glad to say that we've made a big difference in a lot of people's lives.
Yeah,
and it's just so wonderful. Again, I'm just like, that's what like. When I think about, before going to bed at night, I'm like, it just feels so good to know that you're of use.
Yeah.
You've helped somebody else out. Like that's one of the best feelings in the world, I think.
Now, what would Rachel say is the greatest quality? What does she love the most about you, and what does she not like the most?
Oh, wow.
Because Rachel's going to be watching this.
Oh my God. Well, I'm happy to say that my wife just today, we were eating lunch out in Venice, and she's like, I'm so madly in love with you. She just like kept saying that over and over again. I'm like, I know, baby, I'm so in love with you too. What I would say is I think what she most appreciates about me is my courage and willingness to be transparent and to hold all of her.
Yeah.
She's like a natural alpha usually, but when she's with me, she can drop into like beta or into her feminine.
Yeah.
When she feels held and she feels safe and she feels, it just feels feminine. And so maybe my masculinity, the expression of masculinity that I embody, I would say. And what she dislikes about me the most, let's see, where do I start?
The list of 20. Yeah.
I wonder.
No, you're perfect. What are you talking
about?
Yeah.
What is she? What would she most like me to change? I think, something that I'm working on is how to be even more of a self-starter and also a completer of things. My life is so wonderful that I sometimes just enjoy just being, and then I have some great ideas, but I don't always actualize them. I don't like, or I shouldn't say I don't like. I do like structure. I am not always the best at like creating a program, and that's where we work as a team really well. Rachel's really good at that. And obviously now you have AI who can help you. Like, totally. Like, and I've actually utilized that as well. But there's almost like this resistance to always work through, to do something new, to step into another a realm. And one thing that I'm working on right now that I've said yes to, and it's like be a step for me, is actually men's work.
Yeah.
Because traditionally, most of my clients, I would say students, are women. Clients I work equally with men and women. Really, what's my offering to the men? I know what it is actually, but how can I create a platform in such a way that it feels really, really good for the men to come and be together with me, probably virtually at first, and then maybe we'll do like a retreat together and really be able to pass along the things that I've learned that have made the biggest difference in my life to the men, because the women are always like, yes, let's go. And the men are like, no, I'm good. you know? So this interesting thing is like, how do I connect with more men that are willing to step into the ring or willing to step into the dojo and be like, LFG, baby, like, let's go, you know?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to drag you. I really want to attract men that are ready to do the work, to be devoted, committed, to establish a practice in their lives and start doing the inner work.
Yeah, that was two of the things I was going to mention is, the practice, which is obviously getting men together for that, but then also the revealing of your shadow. If you can be honest with a group of men, great. And then maybe you can parlay that into being honest with your partner. So just from what I've heard you talk about, which I know a lot of men could use, is first of all, a safe container to practice, and then also a safe container where a group of men can contain that, hold that vision for you, or hold that, the untruths that you're telling yourself, or revealing those shadow parts of yourself. So we all need it.
Yeah, so I think, it was a long way of answering your question, but really like just stepping more into that realm and like owning that and owning that I have something to offer there and just kind of stepping into that. I think that's something right now, just like do that. And my team is also, there's a lot of women, they're all like, please do that so we can like, the men like need to do this thing. And so it's this interesting moment right now of stepping into that.
Nice.
Me. Yeah.
All right. Now, same question back. What do you love the most, appreciate the most about Rachel? And what do you like? Oh,
obviously,
my God.
Everything.
Remember, Rachel's watching.
That's right.
You're speaking all truth now.
Yeah. What do I most love about her? She's extremely fierce, wise, kind. I always say this: if there's only one word to describe Rachel, it would be love.
I see that. Absolutely.
She's just fierce love, and she loves so powerfully and fiercely. She loves me so fully, and like she's grown my capacity to experience love, and it's continually growing. Like I'm just like, wow, I didn't know it was possible to love and to be loved this much. It's just wild because there's no end to it. It just keeps going, What do I dislike about her?
Refinements.
It's kind of it's a funny thing because I'm really sensitive to sound. She makes some weird noises. So like she has some funny sounds. I've learned to kind of love them, but I'm still like ticked. I'm like, stop it. He's like, don't do it. I hate it.
Is she like a Hummer or?
Man, I can't even duplicate what she does, but she does this like throat scratching thing that only she knows how to do. And she's like, and I'm just like, it's like nails in a chalkboard for me, and I'm just like, can you please?
She's like, find your center, Johann.
Find your center. But actually, there's a great tool that I wanted to share if anyone else is struggling with anything else similar to this with their partner or somebody in their lives. Is like, if you think about the thing that they're doing that's annoying you, and it may be something completely different than what I just shared, think about, would you rather have that person do that thing, have that tick, or not have that person in your life? If something happened to them, if they passed away, or they got, some way you wouldn't have them. Death is a really powerful teacher. Right?
Absolutely.
So if you think of that, I would take that all day long just to have her. And that's a package deal. Yeah. And so it's like every now and then if I get ticked, I'll just remind myself of that and I'd be like, oh my God.
Which goes back into the journey that you had, your life without Rachel.
Yeah.
How sad that was.
Yeah.
How lonely that was.
Yeah.
And so it makes you...
How empty it was. Yeah. So yeah, it's wild, man. What's that? No, let's turn the mirror on you. What do
Yeah.
you most love about yourself,
My,
and what you dislike about yourself?
what I love the most about myself is I actually have, there was a moment of, I think similar to most men, you've gone through this, is the doubting, what am I going to do? What's my mission? What's my purpose? And I really went for it, as far as my medicine work and, really bringing people to the world of medicine, psychedelics specifically, and then through sound. And I challenged myself because I never thought I would be a sound facilitator. I'd never even touched an instrument when I was a kid. And all of a sudden I'm doing sound schools now. It's fascinating. So that's what I love about myself is I'm stepping into the name of the company is Soul Line. So your soul's line. I think everybody has this soul mission and purpose in life. So I call it your soul line.
Yeah. By the way, brother, I'm so incredibly proud of you, and just honor that so deeply. And I've seen your journey, and why I send people to you is because you have one of the clearest souls and clearest hearts. When I speak to people about you, I say this man doesn't have a bad bone in his body. He's just pure. And so I'm so grateful that you're doing this work because the divine channels through you in your work, and there's nothing to stop that flow because you're pure. So it's just awesome.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That's so much. And I think that was, the big part of why the business started flourishing is I was believing it in myself and stepping forward with it. The spirit meets you at that point of action, and it continues to do that and give people a good experience. And, similar, you had your mushroom experience, which changed everything in your relationship. I want to be able to, that changed me too. Every psychedelic, more so ayahuasca and mushrooms have been my two big teachers in life. Mm-hmm. It changed everything in my life. And that's why I want to be able to offer that to other people because I know the healing power in all that. And then, the second part that we talk about refinements, or the part I really don't like about myself, I would say noticing myself lately, and I don't think I'm alone on this, but man, the digital, doom scrolling on Instagram, where I'm like, what am I doing? I set a timer on there, for 45 minutes. Hey, 45 minutes up. I will notice myself in the morning while I'm having a cup of coffee. I'm like, what did I do for 45 minutes?
Wow.
And I'm like, just looking at news, looking at blah, blah, blah. And so that would be one part that I know where I don't like that part of myself, where I could easily, if I'm not on task with something, I could just go, yeah, I'm bored, going through. And so I think that goes into this addictive part of myself that I recognize that that I'm working on right now is to set the timer, or there's going to be times where I want to go look at that, or you're posting stuff, and but I definitely know myself where I'm just numbing out. And so I think that would be one of the biggest challenges and refinements that I'd like to see myself through that.
Yeah. That's a big one for a lot of people. One thing that we've found really helpful for us has been, we've both gotten into, I'm still an avid reader. I read sci-fi and fantasy, and it's just it's Kindle. So now I just do, instead of scrolling, I just read. So it's like if you find a really good book, and you get to go into that world, and in the morning, instead of scrolling, you're reading. And same in the evening, because a lot of people scroll before bed and they can't sleep because they're just so wired.
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful. So if, whatever genre it is for each individual, but like find a great book, and it could be the cheesiest thing, but it's getting you off that scrolly thing, the flashing images, the thing that, sometimes I go to Instagram to look something up, and I'm like, wait a second, what was I?
What was I doing?
Because I'm like, and you totally forget what you came there for.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why was I? And sometimes I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Because I'm like several minutes into a scroll. Clearly, it's like a drug that you're addicted to.
Dopamine hits, boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
And it knows you, right? It knows what gets you to keep freaking scrolling.
And it knows when I'm about to leave, and all of a sudden, oh, there's that video. I was like, okay, one more. Yeah. So stupid. But yeah, actually, I have started. It was funny. Carol got me a Bible, which I was kind of force fed the Bible as a kid. But I was like, this is a story. And I started reading that. Mm-hmm. And I don't go to church. Like, I definitely believe in a higher power. Mm-hmm. I would say more Buddhist than anything. But there is a story here that I've always been fascinated, obviously this since the beginning of time. And so that's one, by the way, I could get through maybe a few verses and I could conk out. So if you ever want to just fall asleep, start reading the Bible at night.
Got it.
That's been tough.
Wow.
But that's been interesting. I don't know why, that's been more in my field lately, is to coming back to some of the passages and some of the story behind that.
I feel like, Jesus is really trending right now.
So trendy.
Yeah, it's like it's
so spiritual.
A lot of folks who are really maybe into more Eastern philosophy or something else are returning to Christianity.
Yep.
And I'm sure there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
I renamed God GGD, as you know, God Goddess Divine, because I really love. For me, it's about the balance.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of the older religions, really, from my perspective, in my experience, there's not a lot of balance in the way that we have been relating to the divine. And it's the same for me as like the way that we're relating to nature, because nature to me is feminine. Yeah. And then we also within ourselves don't relate to the part of us that is feminine as divine. Because in a lot of cultures, feminine is like bad, evil. That's why we got kicked out of heaven and like all this stuff. And somehow have been demonized, and feelings are, bad and yada, yada, yada. So I had a little beef with some of these like more structured religions that I feel like can really limit people,
right,
from my perspective. And at the same time, whenever someone finds God or divine or a path to divine and like feels that joy and feels that connection, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
My question is just like, why would you not celebrate all of it and just be like limited to one, but that's just how I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big believer in go learn it all and see what applies to you.
Yeah.
Because spirituality and oneness can mean so many different things for so many other people. But I think the overwhelming theme that a lot of the teachings come back to is love.
Yeah.
How can we love ourselves and love your neighbor, love your partner, get rid of the untruths, be the best person that you can.
Yeah.
And so whatever story you need to tell yourself or whatever story you need to read that's going to allow you to get back to that loving place, so be it.
Amen.
Amen to that. Amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
A woman.
A woman. Well, I'm excited too. I'm first of all happy to have you here. We'll catch up a little bit more too here. Anything else you want to lay out to the audience here?
If you guys are interested in the work that we're doing, please go to devotionmethod.com and you can learn more about our work. You can come and, there's also our festival schedule on there. So if you're in a different part of the world, do a bunch of work in Europe as well, come see us there. Or, if you're just curious, right now we have a special going where we give a month of free access. I think it's going to change in February, but I'm sure we're going to bring it back. But you'll get some sort of free access to our House of Devotion portal. And just come and experience it, come and check it out and see if you're going to dig what we're laying down, because I have a feeling that you're going to like breath play and you're going to like doing these practices because they're super fun. And don't wait to start like tomorrow or, whenever, just do it. That's the thing is just do it and make it a part of your life. And that's the only way I know where we can truly experience actual transformation. When every day you do something that goes towards that. You put a little money in that account, or energy in that account, and then it just dividends, and like it just grows. And it's just be that person who will make a difference, starting with yourself. That would be my invitation for our listeners.
I love that.
Yeah.
And selfishly, this is why I'm doing this podcast again, or bringing back What's Your Medicine, is so more people can open up to amazing people like yourself and Rachel. We'll get her in here one of these days. But I'm so grateful to know you, brother, and so grateful that you're doing the work that you guys are doing. So
likewise, brother, I love you, and I'm just grateful to share this planet with you at the same time, and to witness the beauty and the growth and the impact that we get to create together. And I truly believe that life gets better and better forever and ever.
Yep.
And so it is.
I love you, brother.
I love you too.
All right. Bye, everybody.